Hey guys! So everything is already being bad to me as I start this video. Please. Okay. I have already filmed this, but I went a little bit on a tangent and I didn't like what I did, so I just deleted that. And yeah, here we are again to talk about manga. So as you guys know, I completely devoured the manga Alice on Borderland, or in Japanese, I'm probably gonna butchering this, but maybe not. Inawa no Kyuni no Alice. I do think I did the butcher that. I'm so proud of myself. So this is a manga by Haruhazu, and has 18 volumes. It's complete, so you don't have to be waiting for all the monthly chapters. Cause if you don't know, manga do come in monthly chapters on magazines, and then it's bound on volumes. But this is totally complete, so you can binge on that. I first encountered this manga in a 3 volume. I'm completely going the words. I first encountered this manga, not in manga. I encountered it in anime, in a 3-episode anime that is like the first character arc of the of said anime, and they didn't do anymore, I think, because at that time the manga was still being serialized, and now it's going to come off as a Netflix series, if I'm not mistaken. And I will talk about that in a bit. Let me first not forget to say what the hell Alice in Borderland is about. Alice in Borderland is about a guy named Rohe. Now, I was gonna butcher that. Ryohei Arisu. As you may notice already, his name is Arisu. It's the closest way that, if I'm not mistaken, the Japanese language can go to Alice, because they do not do that well with the L's. They do not pronounce it that well. So, Arisu is our protagonist is a high school student that is not the best student, not the best person in society, let's call it like that. A bit of a reject, bad grades, not the best company. And he and 2 of his friends, if not his best friends, when spending an afternoon when spending an afternoon, they do wish to go to another world where things are different, and they do see some fireworks, and they are way too bright, and they have to close their eyes. When they open their eyes again, everything is completely different. They are still in Tokyo, but the city is deserted, and it looks like many years has passed. So completely dystopian Tokyo, let's put it like that. They quickly find out other people, and with other people came the reality that to live on this particular version of Tokyo, they have to enter games in order to gain more days on their visas. They all have visas that have a limited number of days, and the only way you can add days to that visa is by winning a game. Now, as you may expect, things get a little bit gruesome, a little bit tragic, a little bit gory, but not too gory. I have to say that for a survival game, dystopian manga, this is not too gory. You do see a lot of blood, but you do not see like the guts like you would see on, for example, on the manga Battle Royale. They were very explicit with everything that is inside of a person. Here the things happen, but you do not see all the details. So do be warned about that. Before I go any longer on this talk without mentioning. I will leave all informations about the manga on the description, and about the anime, and about the Netflix adaptation. So, what can I say without spoiling anything? It is a very good manga. I give it overall 5 stars through all the 18 volumes that it has. It does have a plot, but it is very character oriented. You do meet a complex group of people that are always coming and going. I mean, you lose people, you get new people on the group, or on the several groups, I must say, that you follow. But they are genuinely interesting, with lots of backgrounds. You do have lots of side stories, and those side stories actually pay off at the end, because everything on this manga just beautifully connects at the end and ties it with a bow. This is one of those dystopian survival games that actually has an explanation for things, that you are like, yeah, I can live with this, I can accept this. Usually when these things happen, you go with it for the fun of the games and the fun of seeing high school students killing each other, maybe. If you like this thing. This is another thing. This is not just high school students. Everyone appears in here, every age. Where was I? Yeah, the ending. Totally satisfying. Complex characters that actually grow. They aren't just... I mean, the protagonist is still a protagonist. It still has like the typical protagonistic art bullshit that I'm not really a fan of, but I do not care because all the other characters are amazing. So yeah, totally advise if you usually like post-apocalyptic adventures, anything action-packed. If you like games, any type of games, if you have any interest in games like in rules and rule-breaking stories, survival stories, you're gonna like this manga. The illustrations pretty good. It is a style that is not too big eyes. They are just way too big, and like everything is cutesy. No, you have completely different characters of all ages, all backgrounds. It's really well drawn, very consistent art. So totally give 5 stars on the art. And can I say anything without spoilers? Oh, I do have to address the Netflix adaptation. What I saw on the trailer for the first time ever, I actually watched the trailer and was like, I'm fine with this. I actually pretty fine with this. It didn't look too bad. The characters, you could distinguish which characters were which. I mean, there was one or two that I'm not completely sure, because there is difference from a character drawn and a character being portrayed by an actual person. But I could recognize almost everything that they were showing. The only thing is, the very first game is gonna be very different by what they show on the trailer. They show a little bit of them going to the game and what I think it may be the first game, and it's really, really different from the first game in the manga. Now, it is completely acceptable on this time, because the first game, something a little bit over the top happens, that if you're gonna do that with people, you're gonna need a very big budget and lots of CGI and it's either gonna go look completely awesome but you are completely broke after doing that, or it's gonna look terrible. So I think it was a very good decision to change the first game. I do want to watch it and then see what exactly happens. I do hope that they keep more or less the same logic. I'm not sure if that's what's gonna happen, because that game did have the rules. I think they can be more or less adapted for an indoors game, or at least a game that can be better done without actually looking like crap or going broke. And I think that's basically what I can say about this manga without many spoils. I do not remember anything else that is not a little bit spoiler. So if you do want to watch it and not be spoiled of anything, please leave now. Bye bye. I am gonna enter the part of this video where I'm gonna talk a little bit more into the details, so might be a little bit spoilery, not too much, do not be worried. It's just it's information that it's not gonna change, no plot twist nor nothing. So goodbye if you do not want any information. If you want a little bit more information without spoiling like the vital plot points, hi. I'm gonna start talking about that now. So this is highly inspired by Alice. I was pondering on talking about this on the non-spoilery part, but I don't know if people do prefer to get that. I mean, it's pretty obvious by the name of the protagonist and the name of the anime that this is inspired in Alice in Wonderland. I do not know if you guys want to know exactly how much it is inspired. It does have characters from Alice, but the thing is, while I start watching it, when I watched the manga, I didn't make any connection when I watched the manga. When I watched the anime, the 3 first episodes, that is like the first arc of development of the main character, I did not make any big connection with Alice in Wonderland. After that, other characters that have obvious connections with the Alice in Wonderland book do appear. You have all the favorites. You have Shizire, you have the Hatter, you have the Mayor, the Rabbit, the Queen, and some others. Let's put it like that. It does have references to that, and it does have some... how to say? Oh, it has also the caterpillar, of course. I did really like the interpretations that they did of those characters. They weren't too literal. Some of them can be more literal than others, but they were actually really interesting, and one of them is the best interpretation of that character that I have seen, that I'm not gonna say which one because that's a little bit too spoilery, but if you read it and you want to talk about it, please poke me, because dear Lord, I love that. I really love that. What was I going to say? Oh, it does have, like, plot-wise, it's not Alice in Wonderland, but it does feel a little bit like Alice, because it does have the journey that Alice does from a world that she does not understand, and it is plagued with moments of giving up, moments of keep going, and it does have a resolution and a goal that it's more or less similar depending if you give meaning to Alice or not. If you do think that Alice doesn't have like a real meaning, no. But if you are one of those people that think that Alice is overall a book about growing up, then yes. So there is a lot of development for the protagonist. For myself, I would really just like slap him really hard a lot of times till he just get the hell going, because it's pretty a little bit too much sometimes. But like I said, the other characters are always amazing, and you do not spend. There isn't like one chapter that is like totally boring. Now the games. On the beginning, after they discover the first game, they do quickly, if not the first on the second game, they do quickly get all the informations, or most of the informations that they need about the games. The games are divided and categorized by the cards. Each like card house, I do not remember exactly how do you say, like the spades, hearts, diamonds and clubs, decks. Yes, each deck. Is it each deck? Each house? I'm gonna call it house. I do not remember the best word for it. Let's call it house. Each house of the cards has a different theme, and then it goes from the difficulty depends on the number, and they are a little bit random at first, and then later on the games change for the final part of the manga. But I think that it is expected, so not a big spoil. But the games, the houses, each house is different category. Now, what categories do we have? We have intelligence, that it's diamonds; physical, that it's spades; teamwork, that is clubs; and psychological, that is hearts, of course, because you probably were expecting that. I gotta say that if I was on that world and I would come on the intelligence or physical, I would die. Because intelligence, so you guys can have an idea of what types of games there are. I mean, it is a little bit obvious, but just to make sure you guys have an idea. Physical games, of course, everything that you need to run, jump, fight in some way. All the games that do need to depend on your physical prowess goes on the spades category. So it can go like to stupid military level, basically. Intelligence are all like card games, Mahon, statistics, probabilities, all of that, like literal equations sometimes, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, all of those things. Technically, very fun. If you are fighting for your life, not that fun, and I would completely die there. Next, the one that it's more or less, I think the one of the easiest is the teamwork. For you to finish this game, you do depend on your team. The game itself, it might require a little bit of physical prowess, a little bit of intelligence, and a little bit of psychological games with the other team. But the only way you can win this is if all of the members of your team cooperate. And there are actually things on those games that make it that you need that cooperation. There is not, at least most of the times, there is not another way to finish this game. It is, in my opinion, one of the easiest, because you do not have to just count on yourself. You can count on the brains and physical abilities and that from other people, though other people not always reliable. And for me, the easiest games are the psychological ones, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, with just one exception, all of the games of psychological games that are shown on this manga, everyone can survive. At least everyone that is good can survive. It's again like psychological, or like reading your enemies, or working with the rules. let's just say that the rules of this game is gonna work to make the group against itself. So you just have to understand that and not do that, but still follow the rules. Does that make sense? Hope it does. So those are the 4 types of games that you can encounter here. I do not think there is that much to say. There is some spoilery things that I do want to talk about, but I am not sure if I want to talk about on the video. But if you guys read this, please poke me. Let's fangirl a little bit together and talk about the details of it. And yeah, let me know if this sounds interesting. What do you think about it? It would be something that you would like to read? Yes, no, do let me know. And again, all the informations about the manga, anime, Netflix will be on the description below. Thank you guys. Bye bye.